Hello and welcome to week 1 of the Country Garden Crochet Along, and I'm so excited to be finally getting going with this. So we're going to start with our centre of our blanket, which is our lawn, and we're going to be using a 5mm hook, which is the size we're going to use throughout the whole project. So how are we getting started? There's 3 different colours in our centre piece. So I'm starting with the medium one of them. I'm just going to pull out a bit more yarn here, ready? Okay, so I'm using a 5mm hook, and we're going to start with a foundation chain of 46. Okay, so I'm going to pop a stitch marker in the last chain from my hook, as I tend to use my turning chain as the first stitch. So unless I say otherwise, then the turning chain always counts as your first stitch. So okay, in the third chain from your hook, 1, 2, 3, make a single crochet. And then you're going to single crochet in the next stitch as well. So including that turning chain, you've got 3 single crochet there. Right, in the next 2 stitches, we're going to make a half double crochet. 1 and 2, and then double crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and then in the next 3 stitches you're going to make trebles. So 1 treble in each of the next 3 stitches. 1 treble, and second treble, 1, 2, and treble number 3. Okay, so you've got this nice little gradient going up of stitches. Okay, so the garden, our lawn middle area, is all made up of ripple and wave stitches. So we'll have a nice undulating garden. Okay, so we've got our 3 trebles, and now we need to go back down. So the next 2 stitches are double crochet. 1 and 2. Another 2 half double crochets, so 1 in each stitch. 1 and 2. And then we're going to do a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. So we've got a nice little wave going on. So this stitch we're making now is called the long wave stitch. It's a very pretty one. You'll see it coming into its own in the next few rows. Okay, so now we're going to carry on with this pattern. The next 2 stitches are half double crochet. Next 2 stitches after that, we have double crochet in each stitch. And then in the next 3 stitches we get to the top of our wave and we make a treble in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, and 2, and a third treble. Okay, so we're at the top of our wave and we need to go back down again. So in the next 2 stitches we make a double crochet in each. And then in the next 2 stitches we make a half double crochet. Can I just make a double in there? I think I did. Let's try that again, shall we? That's the thing about me, I'll show you all the mistakes, I don't edit them out. If I've got to unravel it, then so be it. Right, half double crochet in that one, and then a half double crochet again. So for the bottom of our wave, we're going to make a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're nearly at the end of the row. I'm just going to pull some more yarn out. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to half double crochet. So a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Then a double crochet in each of the next 2. 1 and 2. Then trebles in the next 3 stitches. Okay, so 1 treble in each of the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so back down again, make a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Then half double in each of the next 2. And then you should be left with 3 chains. Okay, and you're going to single crochet in each of those. 1, 2, and 3. So we start the same as we finish. So we started our row with 3 single crochet, we end with 3 single crochet. And that is row 1. Row 2. Going to turn and chain 1. Now in this row we're going to be using the back loop only. Okay, so if you look at our loops at the top, we have the front loop here and the back loop here. We're only using this back loop. And into that back loop you're going to make a single crochet. Just grab another stitch marker. Nothing worse than losing your stitches at the end. And you're going to single crochet in every single stitch. All of them using the back loop only. Okay, so you're going to have 45 single crochet at the end of this row. So you should have 45 stitches in row 1, and that number won't change. You're going to have 45 stitches in every single row for this stitch. Okay. Right, I'm going to carry on with that, and I shall see you when we get to the end of row 2. Okay, so at the end of row 2, and my final stitch is just like the rest, single crochet in the back loop only, and you should have it looking like this. So you've got your wave here, and then this row of single crochet, creating this ridge. I think that's really pretty. Okay, let's turn. And we'll start row 3. We're going to chain 1, and in this row again we're working in the back loop only. So you're going to start with a treble turning chain. So make your turning chain however you prefer. I use the alternate treble turning chain, but you could also chain 3 if you prefer. But either way, your turning chain counts as your first stitch. Pop a stitch marker in there. So I use this particular turning chain just because it looks more like a normal stitch than a chain. Okay, so first treble made with your turning chain, and then in the next 2 stitches, remember back loop only, we're going to make a treble in the next 2 stitches. So we're going to be making the same pattern as we did in row 1, it's just that we're starting with different stitches.
instead of starting at the bottom of our wave with the single crochets, we're starting at the top of the wave with the trebles. So including that turning chain, you've got a treble in each of your first 3 stitches. Okay, so the next 2 stitches are double crochets. 1 and 2. Then the next 2 stitches are half double crochets. And then in the next 3 stitches we're making single crochets. 1, 2 and 3. So every single stitch in this row is back loop only, and you can see it's now creating a ridge on this side of your work as well. So we're going to carry on with that pattern. After 3 single crochets you make 2 half double crochets, then you make 2 double crochets, then 3 trebles, and then you come back down again with 2 doubles, 2 half doubles, and then 3 single crochets. Okay, so I'm now on to 2 doubles. So you're making the opposite stitches to the row 1. So your half doubles and doubles will line up, but your single crochet and trebles are opposite. So above your trebles you got single crochet, okay, and above your single crochet from row 1 you got trebles, and do that all the way across in the back loop only. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this row and I shall see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 3 and I'm finishing the row with a treble crochet and still working into that back loop. Oops, there we go, and treble complete. So now I'm going to turn and chain 1. Okay, so as in all the other rows we're going to carry on working in the back loop only, and this row is a row single crochet. So we're just going to single crochet in every stitch across until we get to the end of the row. And at the end of this row we're going to do a colour change, and then we're going to repeat the pattern. So and we're going to finish off this row, and then I'll come back to you when we need to change colour. Okay, so at the end of row 4 and I've done my last single crochet, and as you can see it's all in the back loop. So we've got that lovely pattern coming through. And so in the last 2 loops of this last stitch I'm going to change to my next colour. So I've gone for a darker green in this one, and then I'm going to turn and chain 1. So essentially for this row we're going to repeat row 1. In row 1 it was what you made into your foundation chain. So we're going to do the same pattern of stitches, but we're going to be working in the back loop only for this one. So you're going to be starting with a single crochet in the back loop. Let's move my stitch marker up. Okay, I haven't cut off the last colour, as it's your choice whether to carry this on up or not. If you carry up, you're going to be carrying it up for quite a long way, as our colour changes are quite long for this one. But it's entirely up to you if you choose to carry it or cut and rejoin later. So I shall leave you to make that choice. So to be honest, I probably will end up cutting off. I'm not a massive fan of carrying up for too far. Okay, so our first stitch is a single crochet in the back loop only, and we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches as well. So as before, every stitch is in the back loop only. Okay, so just as in row 2, the next 2 stitches are half double crochet. 1 and 2. The next 2 stitches are double crochet. 1 and 2, and the next 3 stitches are treble crochet. So after these 3 treble crochet, we'll do 2 double crochet, 2 half double crochet, and then 3 single crochet, and that's our repeat for the row. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and I shall see you when I get to the end. Okay, so at the end of row 5, and you should finish with 3 single crochet at the end there.
So rows 6 to 8 are a repeat of rows 2 to 4. At the end of row 8, which is a repeat of row 4, you're going to switch colours again to your third green. And then rows 9 to 12, they are a repeat of rows 5 to 8.
So I'm going to go ahead with those repeats. Okay, and I'm going to come back to you at the end of row 12 and I'll show you what it looks like. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I finished row 12 and it's all just single crochet in the back loop. And that's this week's part of our lawn finished, but not week 1 finished. We've got one more task to do. So onto our lawn when it's finished, we are going to have some daisies. So lovely little daisies like this. And we're going to make our first 2 this week. We're going to be making 8 of these in total over the next 4 weeks. So I split them up into 2 a week, but if you want to jump ahead and make all 8, then you can go ahead. They're all made the same way in the same pattern, but don't join them onto your lawn yet, because you won't know how you want to place them until we've got the first 4 weeks done. Okay, so how do we make our daisies? And we start our daisy with a magic circle. And into that circle we're just going to chain 1. That chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. So inside our magic circle we're then going to make 6 single crochet. Just get the stitch markers out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then I'm just going to pull the loop closed and I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet and just slip stitch closed. Okay, so that's our yellow done with, but when you cut off, leave a nice long tail because we'll be using that to attach it to our lawn. And then just pull nice and closed, and there's our centre. Okay, so I'm going to take away that yellow and I'm going to bring in this off-white that I'm using for the petals. Now remember that this last loop here is a slip stitch, it's not a stitch, so you're not going to be working into that. We're only going to be working into our 6 single crochet. Okay, so get your hook into any single crochet of the round and then just pull your new colour through and chain 1. Okay, that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Into the same stitch that you joined into, oops, nope, yarn over, into the stitch you joined into, you're going to make a half double crochet. So this is your first stitch. Let's mark that. Okay, so still working into that same stitch, you're also going to make a double crochet and another half double crochet. Oops, just grab some yarn. Okay, so that's your petal. Half double crochet, half double crochet. Into your next single crochet, you're going to slip stitch. Okay, and working into the same stitch as the slip stitch, half double crochet, double crochet, and half double crochet, all in that same stitch. And there's our second petal. And then slip stitch into your next single crochet. So I skipped over that slip stitch to make sure that doesn't get worked into. So we're going to do the same in every petal round. So you slip stitch into your next single crochet, and in that same stitch you make a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a half double crochet, and then repeat all the way around. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this daisy, and we should have 6 petals in total. So 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the next one. This can be a bit tight in places, but it all works out for a nice tight looking flower. Half double crochet, double crochet, and a half double crochet. Slip stitch into the next single crochet, and working in that same stitch, got a half double, double, and another half double, and then into our last single crochet, slip stitch, and then half double, double, and last stitch is the half double. Okay, and then just to finish the round, I'm just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet again. I didn't really need the stitch marker, but it's just a good way of not losing where you are. There we go. So now I can cut that off, and we have our first daisy. So weave in your petal ends and weave in one of your middle ends, and just leave one of those middle tails free so that you can use that to sew this onto your lawn later. So you'll end up with a nice lovely flower like that. Okay, so 2 of those and you are done for week 1. So thank you for joining me, and I shall see you next week for week 2 of the Country Garden Crochet Along. Bye for now.